years, this PC government has been accused of using taxpayers' money to subsidize their partisan activities, going back to the days of Premier Klein. Recently, a number of PC MLAs and cabinet ministers took a flight to attend a partisan event. They include the Minister of Infrastructure, now Transportation, Health Minister, Intergovernmental Affairs, Energy, now Municipal Affairs, and the Associate Minister of Electricity. My question is to the Finance Minister. Given that this was a fundraising party for the PC party, what makes you think that you can use a government aircraft as your designated driver?
Honourable member, from the standpoint of government policy, please.
I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, I didn't hear your direction.
From the standpoint of government policy, please. I'm going to remind members of what's allowed and what's not allowed shortly, but go ahead.
Absolutely, Mr. Speaker. In fact, for the party event, as I said, the party did put transportation on for government members who were not on government duty, Mr. Speaker. The flight in question was for members who were on government duty, Mr. Speaker. And as I said before, the policy of the government, and we do have a policy for the use of the air transportation service and the charter aircraft, which I have in my hands, which is readily available to many, many folks. The authorization for Category 1 flights, 2, 3, 4 flights. I would actually say, Mr. Speaker, that one of the flights that was taken on that day was a Category flight that is actually for emergencies, which was, as I said, to the incident in St. Paul, where we actually carried one of the honourable members.
Thank you. First supplemental, honourable member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Well, it doesn't matter what new face you may want to put on the PC's packaging. It's too far past the best before date, Mr. Speaker. The government issued a media advisory for just 45 minutes after the plane landed in Grande Prairie and its wheels up back to Edmonton before 10 the next day. It arrived at 16:32, that's close to 4:30, and left again approximately 10 o'clock at night. Can the Finance Minister explain what crucial government business was done on this trip to the partisan Tory fundraiser?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I understand it, there was a number of items that were scheduled to happen that day in Grande Prairie, and the flights were to leave earlier than they did. The cause for the delay, Mr. Speaker, was that the Minister of Infrastructure at the time was asked to attend at a tragedy of a car accident at a school. The flight that he was on was the one that delayed the flight coming back. Obviously, Mr. Speaker, these are one of the scheduling challenges that we have with transportation services on an ongoing basis. As I said, close to 2,000 flights a year, Mr. Speaker, and we try to limit the number of times that we have these kinds of delays and these kinds of issues.
Final supplemental, honourable member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Well, the answer is that no government business was undertaken by any of the participants on that flight. The entirety of this governing party deserves a share of the blame for this kind of behaviour, Mr. Speaker. There were 5 cabinet ministers and 3 backbenchers on that flight. Mr. Speaker, it's not just the Premier, it's the whole caucus, it's the whole cabinet. To the Finance Minister, why is the sense of entitlement of this government and this PC caucus so strong that they believe that Albertans should pick up?
Time has elapsed. An answer from the Minister of Finance, please.
Mr. Speaker, today, as you most aptly pointed out, is the 13th anniversary of my entering this chamber. I'm very proud of that service, Mr. Speaker. I'm very proud of the fact that I have been and will continue to do the service for the people. A passion for service, Mr. Speaker, not a passion for politics, not a passion for ideology. We have a passion to serve Albertans, Mr. Speaker. The things that are being brought up here today are trying to take Albertans' minds away from the very positive things that this government has done, like a hospital in Grande Prairie, Mr. Speaker, like a hospital in Edson, Mr. Speaker, like building Alberta for the future. That's what Albertans want us to do, Mr. Speaker.